Hey sisters, welcome to today's explainer. We are going to jump right in and unpack a very real, incredibly complex, and let's be honest, often totally exhausting experience, balancing your faith with the relentless everyday pressures of a secular high school environment. Today, we're pulling from an awesome range of sources, from academic studies on Muslim youth to deep Islamic psychological insights, to give you a structured, empowering roadmap for the very specific challenges you face every single day. So be honest. Do you ever feel like you're living two completely different lives? Well, if you just nodded your head, I need you to know that academic research shows you are definitely not alone. Studies focusing on Muslim youth in the West highlight this exact phenomenon. Researchers actually call it the mental exhaustion of code switching. It's that heavy feeling of walking a tightrope between two entirely different sets of societal rules. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Navigating the Double Life. Just think about the completely opposing expectations placed on you the second you walk through those school doors. In your non-formal Islamic education spaces, like your weekend mosque classes, things operate with very clear boundaries, right? You have sex-segregated learning, formal distance, you lower your gaze, and there is absolutely no touching. But then you step into your secular high school, and it's fully coeducational. You're suddenly required to do mixed group work. Socializing between genders is highly encouraged, and even physical touch, like handshaking, is just treated as a standard everyday ritual. Because, let's be real, you aren't just going to school to learn algebra and chemistry. As researchers point out, you are being dropped into a massive social ecosystem that actually mandates constant interaction in mixed seating. They are effectively forcing you into daily, inescapable situations that clash directly with your foundational values. So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that constantly bouncing between these two different identities and sets of rules is a huge psychological burden to carry. You're essentially asked to flip a switch on your identity between the mosque on Sunday and homeroom on Monday morning. And sure, some people manage this code switching practically speaking, but the research shows it often leads to true mental exhaustion. It creates a deep sense of alienation, tons of stress, and this lingering, anxious fear of being found out as a fraud in either environment. Which brings us right into Section 2, the social minefield. You see, you aren't just dealing with homework, you're dealing with what researchers call peer surveillance. It's this high-tension phenomenon where all your interactions are constantly watched and judged, very often by other Muslim teens. There's this immense, heavy pressure to just fit in, to joke around, to interact informally with the guys, really just to avoid being labeled as an ice princess or too conservative. It's literally a minefield where your boundaries are constantly, relentlessly being tested. So how do we handle this? Let's look at Section 3, the power of being disaffected. The ultimate survival strategy here is a concept called being disaffected, and I absolutely love this definition. Being disaffected means making yourself unaffectable. It's about putting up a solid mental wall where nothing a guy at school says can hit your nerves, make you blush, or force a reaction out of you. And listen, it's not about being mean. It's a superpower. It's how you maintain a formal, dignified distance to protect your inner peace and your long-term spiritual goals. Think of this analogy, because it vividly shows why giving in to those temporary high school infatuations just isn't worth it. Imagine you're in an airplane looking down. Sure, the scenery down there looks nice, the attention feels really good. But to get it, you have to jump out of the plane without a parachute. The fall might feel thrilling for a second, but it ultimately ends in spiritual suicide. You have to value your afterlife and your spiritual safety enough to just stay on the plane. And if you ever find your wall lowering, our sources point out some massive red flags you need to watch for. If a guy demands things that compromise your values, like asking for photos without your hijab, hiding your interactions, refusing to involve your family or your wali, or pulling away the exact second you say no, listen to me, he is not serious about you. He does not respect you. You need to recognize these signs immediately, stand firm, and reinforce that disaffected mental wall. Now let's reframe things a bit in Section 4, Reclaiming Haya as Strength. We really need to understand that haya is way, way more than just a dress code or the fear of getting caught by your parents or your community. The Yaqeen Institute breaks this down beautifully. True haya is your internal moral compass. It is a profound source of human dignity. It's the self-respect that proactively rejects anything obscene or beneath your worth. It's an active, daily superpower, not just a passive reaction to fear. This beautiful quote from the renowned scholar Ibn al-Qayyim shows us the ultimate truth here. Without haya, we literally lose the very essence of our humanity. It is the driving force behind all good character. When you act with haya in those crowded, noisy high school hallways, you aren't being restricted or held back. You are actually elevating your own humanness to its highest possible status. So, what happens if we lower that armor and get hurt? That brings us to Section 5, Healing Heartbreak Through Faith. A massive paradigm shift happens when you realize that heartbreak isn't a punishment. According to insights from Amalia, Allah will actually remove people from your life right before your eyes if they threaten your iman. He knows the intoxicating power of infatuation and how it clouds our judgment. So when someone is suddenly taken out of your life, it is actually divine intervention. It's Allah gently rescuing you from spiritual harm, reminding you to attach your heart only to the Creator, not the creation. We can draw incredible, deep comfort from the story of Musa's mother, peace be upon him. Just imagine the unimaginable trauma of placing your newborn baby into a river. The Quran says her heart became entirely empty. She was completely emotionally paralyzed by the grief. She was ready to blow her cover and run right to her baby, which would have meant certain death for him. Let's look at the psychology of this divine healing. Step 1 is that intense trauma and paralyzing emptiness. But then, look at step 2. Allah directly intervened. He literally strengthened her heart and calmed those emotional flames. Which leads to step 3. She moved forward with restored tranquility and perfect clarity. The profound lesson here? Just as Allah intervened to literally hold together the broken heart of Musa's mother, He has the absolute power to heal your emotional scars and strengthen your heart too. You just have to ask Him. As you navigate the daily complexities, the exhausting code switching, and the social minefields of your high school experience, I want to leave you with this final thought. You are already equipped with the immense dignity of haya, the superpower of being disaffected, and the ultimate backup of divine healing. So, will you choose to reclaim that strength today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this empowers your journey forward.